Oh,
Well,
welcome.
you're having me.
New Year. How are you?
Oh, I'm so good. I feel like the new year is it's going really well. How about you?
I am good. I'm just home and the New Year's been good. Slowly getting like stuff going. I can see it's really sunny over there. Looks
It
nice.
is. Yeah, it's nice. It's actually, I hate to say it, it's like, well, you're in LA. It's like 75 degrees here right now and just lovely weather. What about you?
Oh, I'm actually in San Francisco, but it's in California. It is
Hi.
the weather here is sort of a kind of, I don't know how to explain it. We have an
Cloudy.
Indian summer and we have like late summer and we have the season doesn't really it's not much of a season. It's more of like a spring and fall situation
You still
whole
live
year
in San
around.
Francisco. I totally forgot. Yeah, the weather's like flipped. It's like Australia or something.
Yeah, and then you just wear the same clothes all the time, and you just add layers on, and you wear sandals in the winter, and then you wear boots in the summer. Sometimes it's yeah, it's a
Yeah,
kind of weird
it doesn't make
season
sense
and
at all.
situation. Yeah, is this Michael?
Hi.
Hey,
Yes.
Michael, thank you
Hello.
for joining us.
Good.
We were worried everybody
Yeah,
else. Go ahead.
I was so glad that I got the email that to join the so I had no idea. And then when I
Oh,
jumped
Oh,
in there, I was like, oh my God, I was like, all these creators are doing like lives. I was like, I gotta join and I gotta see
oh
what's going
yeah.
on. So thank you. Thank you both for like hosting this and being a part of it and sharing it.
Of course. Well, we do have some questions laid out today from Miachel, but like feel free to like type in your cues, or since we don't have many people here today, then you can just like feel free to ask a couple of questions.
Okay.
Without further ado, let's kick off the questions. So
woo.
I think it was you asked about her styling process and how she set up her shoes and stuff, and she has like amazing eye for colors, textures, and everything else. And I think
Okay.
we just want to learn a little bit more of how you style your shoots, and then I have like a few follow-up questions for you after you kind of explain the process.
Cool. Great question. Okay, so the question is, what's my process for styling a shoot? And I think it stems, if it's for a paid shoot, it really stems from the client. You know, what is the client's aesthetic? Who are we speaking to? Um, let's say, for example, I shot a men's skincare line called Caldera Lab or Caldera and Lab, and their aesthetic was very rustic, lots of like dark woods. It was also seasonal, like for Christmas time. So we wanted to incorporate some like festive colors. And so my thinking behind that was, okay, so let's find like really rich woods to draw on. Let's include some natural elements because it's a natural skincare line. Um, I wanted to add like an element of festiveness to it. So I included some ribbon, but instead of having it be like satin ribbon or something really glossy, I chose like a matte velvet ribbon, which kind of works in tandem with like these deep natural woods and natural materials. Um, so that's one example of, basically how I work off the client brief, like what is the product that I'm shooting, what is it made of, and what's the message we're trying to convey. Another
Mm.
example of Claire, thanks for sharing. It was this it's like a mushroom spray for your mouth.
Mm.
It's fun.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and basically they're all into like, it's basically about adaptogens and kind of,
Mm.
okay, I'll try to keep it short. About it changes your mind, like it slowly and naturally like enhances your mental capability. And so the thought
Oh.
behind that is we want to make it modern, while also rooted in nature. So I worked with two-tone flash to bring in the element of like kind of mind altering natural substances, but then also drew on a lot of natural materials like Texas limestone. And we also included like a lot of the actual real natural mushrooms, so you know what the product is drawing from. Yeah, they're not psychedelic mushrooms. It's all like I think like lion's mane.
Ooh.
Like
No, I'm
that.
just kidding.
Yeah. Yeah. And then as far as the color palette, I drew from the packaging itself, which I do a lot. Either I try to find a color scheme that really draws on the packaging and complements it, or I like to go the opposite direction and find something that's really contrasting, that amps up the color palette of the packaging. So yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah, I hope that helps. That's kind of
that's
Yeah.
the photo I shared today, right? On the Instagram. Yeah, I remember like I saw there's a different color light source coming in. So I was gonna ask that to you, like what were you using, blue lights, or what color were you using for the lights?
I use different gels for the flash. So for the for the like the first one, the purple one, it was like a very dark midnight blue and then kind of a very soft magenta, and so together they create like this blue purple haze, which I really like, and drew on the packaging itself. The packaging was kind of like this blue purple ideal. And then on the red one, I believe I chose red and yellow. I find that when I'm using gels and like a beautiful two-tone experience, if you choose colors that are directly next to each other on the color wheel, it doesn't really come out in the photo. So I like to go like 3 steps over on the color wheel, like, you know, blue and magenta, or like 2 steps over with like using the red and yellow, if that makes sense.
I actually have a question. When you use the gels, or you put it on directly on the lens?
I put it over the flash itself.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you could do it over the lens. I haven't done it that way. But yeah, I find the easiest way for me to do it is over the flash.
And do you have 2 flashes, or do you use one for the colors?
I do one continuous light in the corner, and then I do a flat, and then I do one flash. But but I've also seen the setup work really well, where you have 2 different flashes. Like one flash on the right side is like purple, and then the one on the left is like green. You know, actually, I don't think those colors will look good together, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah.
I also, just to interrupt, are you holding your phone, Miachel?
No, I'm not. I'm on my laptop.
Oh, okay, got it. I was just wondering, like, I don't want you to hold your phone for the whole hour.
Thanks. Very sweet of you. Thank you, Claire.
Okay. I wasn't sure. Oh, that's really good to know. Like, I didn't know, because I know that I have like one of these little guys, and you can actually change colors, and diffuse it, but you can take it off and it's more bright. Then you can change the light to colors to any colors on the app they have. So I notice a lot of people using these guys for different lights. So I wasn't sure when you do your different lights, were you using this or were you using like something else? So it's good to know that you're using gels for those effects.
That's really cool.
Would I be able to jump in and ask?
Oh yeah, totally, jump in.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know the format. I didn't know if it was okay to just like ask like, or if we were just reading from the questions list. So I really, when I went to your Instagram, I thought like the styling was so beautiful. Like everything is so well like intentionally placed, and the lighting is just really good as well. And so I'm just kind of curious, are you always the stylist on set, or are you working with like other stylists at times? Like what's that kind of look like on day of the shoot?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say 3/4 of the time I'm the one styling on set, but definitely not all the time. Say 25%. I work with really talented stylists. Let's say, for example, I was shooting for Tito's Vodka a couple weeks ago, and so I hired a drink and prop stylist for that shoot. Also hired like a food stylist for some shoots. And then sometimes, which I really like, is the client will be on set, or the creative director or the art director will be on set, and they'll have ideas for how they want to style it. And so we'll kind of collaborate on set to create something new and beautiful, which is always great. Although the client always, can't always be on set, or the art director or creative director. And so they'll lean more heavily on me to style it. So
that's cool. Do you feel like,
yeah.
That's what it's kind of seemed like, just from how you were talking, is that you probably handled the majority of it, except for maybe some other specific like scenarios. But no, that's just really cool, because I feel like for me, like I have a really solid understanding of lighting and technique, but where I would like to improve is like move more into styling sets and like sourcing props and like kind of telling that story, which is what you do so well. And so I'm just like,
Thanks.
I thought it was really cool that you were able to, just like do that on your own, and like, you're kind of like wearing all the hats. So I think that's really awesome.
Yeah, totally. That's cool though. I mean, I feel like if you want to learn styling, then go deep into it and experiment, like find a photo that you really like and just recreate it on your own terms. I feel like that is how you learn anything, right? Firsthand experience and trial and error. But plan B is, if you feel like you really want to lean heavily on just the photography side of it, then find stylists in your city and collaborate with them. I find those are some of, like, out of the personal series and shoots that I've done, some of the most fun were the ones where like I collaborated with a friend. Like back in Brooklyn, my friend Lydia is a super talented floral stylist. And so we created a whole photo series, like just jamming on set, and like I would do photos and she would do the floral styling. And so in your case, like if you feel like you have to do styling, but you don't really want to, then, find that person to fill that niche. And then if you, want to keep making money on it, like maybe you become like a duo and get hired for shoots together. That's one of my, what two of my friends do. One is a really talented photographer. The other is her go-to food stylist. And so they'll actually pitch their work as a team, which is cool. So, different options.
Yeah. That's so good to hear. And so like, I know you said you work with your friends and stuff, but is that like,
they're personal?
Because like, okay, so I'm, yeah. Like I'm in Oklahoma City. It's not like a creative mecca by any means, but
all right. All right, still a city, still.
So I'm like, like it's tough just to like be like, hey, like I need a prop stylist or like stylist for a set design or a shoot. So it's kind of cool to hear that you use like friends who maybe they're not like specifically a set designer or stylist, but like they are floral arranged, like they can still bring that element to the shoot. So it kind of sounds like that worked really well for you.
Yeah, I definitely think so. And I mean, also, and maybe you've already done this, but like I would recommend like putting the word out there, like tap into that creative community that is Oklahoma City. And I'll bet you might be surprised, like it may not be a full-time prop stylist person, but I'll bet there's some really cool talented art directors there that you can link up with and just kind of jam on a shoot together.
You're right. I need to put the word out.
Yeah, put yourself out there. Yeah.
What are the styling tool you have in your styling kit, like the stuff you constantly use?
Okay.
Like more maybe like stuff you constantly use, and some stuff that is unexpected, more of like your secret that you want to share.
Yeah. I totally get you. Okay, right off the bat, I can say I really love this frog I have. It's a floral frog, and basically it's just a really, really heavy paperweight with rocks or with needles sticking out on top of it. And I use it for gobos. I use it for adding like a floral element that's kind of that's too thin to attach to a C-stand. I mean, you can do a C-stand and gaffer tape, but it's it's a little time intensive, where I feel like a frog is so nice because you basically just put the stem of whatever floral you're using and it sticks, and it's great. Really love that. And then another awesome stylist tool I have is putty. I feel like not enough is said for museum putty. I feel like I wish I could like be sponsored by them. I think I've mentioned them before.
Yes.
But it's really, yeah, I think I did a reel on how to like, on what brand I use and how to use it. But basically just like take out a little ball, kind of roll it between your fingers to warm it up, and then press it between the substance and the background of whatever you're trying to use. And it's nice. I find it's, let's say like one regular way I use it is if I'm shooting overhead and I'm shooting skincare. A lot of skincare is shot in round bottles, and so they'll roll offset. And so what I do is I'll take a little bit of putty, and I don't put it directly on the back of the bottle because it creates an uneven line. Like basically what you're trying to do is, here's the surface and here's the product. If you put putty directly under the product, it will be tilted up and the camera kind of catches it. So what I like to do is I stick a little bit of putty to the side of the product and it just holds it in place. So whichever direction it's rolling off, that's the side that I put the putty on. Does that make sense? I hope I was describing that well. It's like, yeah. Anyway, it's like, instead of, so if this is the product, instead of putting the putty directly underneath, I'll put it to the side like this right here. And so instead of rolling this way, the putty will like catch it. And then it's also hidden underneath the bottle so you don't see anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anything else you use that quite often that you don't see other people are using it?
Let's see.
Because you do a lot of beverages stuff. Do you use anything special for beverages?
Let's see. I mean, old, took as old as time as like, you put salt in beer or seltzers or kombucha or, drinks like that to like make more bubbles float to the surface, which is cool. Although at a certain point, you start to see the salt level up on the bottom of the drink, so you have to switch it out. But as far as like adding like a quick fix, like salt is really nice. Let's see, for drinks, I have a lot of fake ice, which is really nice. I feel like my preference is to use real ice because it floats and I think it looks just like a little bit more realistic and nice. But fake ice is great if you want to invest in something. And I think they make really interesting shapes now, which is cool. Yeah. I feel like fake ice is nice when, okay, I mean, this is a little not controversial, but like my feeling is that if you're on a shoot and the drink is kind of in the periphery, like if it's not the focal point, then I would use fake ice. But if it's for something like when I'm shooting for Kin Euphorics, I feel like if the beverage is the focal point, then I want every single item to be interesting. I want the glass to be interesting. I want the garnish to be interesting. And I want the ice to be interesting. So I'll use like the really large spherical ice molds, or I'll go to Sonic and get like the very, very tiny ice, which I think is so interesting and textural. It's like silly stuff like that. And so to me, those are weird ice shapes because, I mean, when you're shooting something so simple, every detail counts. Yeah. So my preference is to use real ice for beverage focused shoots.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. So I guess to answer your question, ice cube molds are like another thing I have a lot of that I think really add a lot, like the spherical molds, the really large cube ones, the really, really tiny cube ones, but in perfect squares. I think they add a lot.
Yeah, and you make your own ice for some of the just like the ice cubes for the shoot.
Yeah,
but they melt, I guess they don't melt that quickly, so it's okay for you to like, you have time to grab the shoots before the ice completely melt.
Totally. And my thing is if I'm the one styling, or if I'm hiring someone else that's styling, like we set up the shot first. Like the ice is and the drink is the very, very last thing you add to the set, like because you always have like I put in a placeholder drink, like a very similar, or if I don't have the exact glass, a similar looking glass of the same height. And so I get it like, you adjust things and you tweak things and kind of get it perfect on live view in Capture One. And then when you feel like it's all ready to go, then you make and garnish the glass and put it in. And so the yeah, the ice will melt eventually, but you pretty much have the shot ready to go. So it's, not as big an issue. At least in my experience, everyone's different and shoots differently.
Yeah,
Do you ever
totally.
heat do you ever boil the water so that it like gets the
Oh,
imperfections out so you get
yeah.
like a clear ice?
Yeah, totally. That's like a real thing. Yeah, yeah, totally.
Okay.
Um,
I saw people like recommend doing that and I was like, I bet it works. I've just never like taken the time to do that.
yeah, it's weird. It totally works. Yeah, it's weird.
Okay, good to know.
Or like on the other hand, like if you want a really opaque cube, like you can lean in the other direction of that, like find like make like a
Oh,
salty or like mineral water and then freeze
yeah.
that, which is cool.
Oh, that's a cool idea. I never thought about. Yeah, that could be
Yeah.
cool. I like that.
Yeah, whatever you want.
Love that. And I know you utilize a lot of the different surfaces and the fabrics. In terms of fabrics, I noticed like there are a few ones you're always using. I was just wondering for people who also like to use fabrics, do you have a different like maybe like top 3 type of fabric you always use and you like you find out is really good for shoots?
Yeah, totally. I feel like one fabric I like using for draping is satin fabric. Just like, go to Joann's, like find the exact color that I want. And then I really like that. I feel like it just drapes really well in the background. I feel like another straightforward fabric, which I really like, linen. I feel like linen has such a beautiful coarse texture to it. I think it just really comes out.
Mhm.
And then as far as third,
You use the velvet sometimes too
oh yeah, I really like velvet. I feel like
for
I
more of
love
like
seeing like velvet, like yeah, draped over a set, and then kind of like what I'll do is like I'll drape over the velvet on the table and then I'll gently like scrunch it in different areas so you see these like nice natural wrinkles.
Hmm.
I think it adds so much. It just kind of catches your eye in a very like small way. It looks really good. I feel like that works really well, like out of the season we're coming out of, which is like holiday and winter. I feel like velvet, I think of like rich, warm things. And so I definitely just, yeah, recently shared a lot of content that had a lot of velvet in it, like velvet ribbons, velvet background. Yeah. Versus like now that we're like going into spring, I feel like I lean more on like linens, which are like a little more lightweight, and things like that. Like again, thinking about the story behind what you're using. Like what season are we in? What's the item that we're promoting? Like we are coming out of like a really cold time. Well, I guess people in New York would argue differently. They're like, we're going into the cold time, but for most part, like the coldest part is usually behind us. So you think of like heavy heavy velvets, like heavy sweater like cotton items, and then now like going into springtime, like lighter God, what's the word I'm trying to think of? It's not linen, it's a light summery material. I can't remember the name of it, but anyway, yeah, that goes into my thinking too when I'm styling different shoots.
Totally. That makes a lot of sense. And I know you use mirrors and you use glass for like
Yeah.
reflect the type of thing, and you also use just the sheets papers to create like the set. And then where do you normally go to get your papers?
Great question. I feel like Savage is not necessarily a store. I mean, they have an online store. It's more like the brand of seamless paper that you buy from that different stores will carry. And so I love to buy Savage because I love the little chip chart they send out. It's like if I have a chip chart and my client has a chip chart, we're like on the exact same page as far as what the color is going to be. In kind of like, I feel like in that way, Savage paper is similar to Pantone. It's like when you look at a color, it's like exactly what you're getting, and that's so important for communication. At least I always try to be like I'm on the exact same page as the client. I feel like you know, if I was paying for something, like I want to make sure I know what I'm getting. So
Yeah.
yeah, for that reason, I really like Savage. And then where I buy it from, I try to buy local. I am here in Austin, and so precision camera, but what I try to get from them. If you're in Austin, they have 2 stores. One's on the north side and one's they just opened on the south side. They don't always have the papers I want. So if that's the case, then I like to borrow from Adorama in Brooklyn or in New York, because I have such a soft spot for them. They were like my go-to when I lived there. And so I still like to support them if I can't shop local at Precision. Yeah.
I was actually talking about more of like a sheets paper, not seamless. But
okay.
I've seen a lot of those sheets ones are just in like our supply store, like a Blake or something.
Oh, yeah.
Have the small ones, but I saw you also buy like the more metallic reflective ones.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, totally. I feel like if you're like, you know, you're into seamless but you're over it, I feel like going to like your craft supply store, like they have really interesting surfaces you can use. Like, again, I'm going to throw out Joann's fabric store because I love them. They have really cool, interesting papers which are glittery, metallic. There's this maple syrup company called Run Amok, and they make a sparkle syrup. And so when I was shooting for them, I went to Joann's and I found like really beautiful glittery paper, and had a lot of fun with that. Or for like the kin shoot I shot last year, they had this like, I was creating this set that was really moody and like had a lot of metallic and auburn tones. So I found this kind of bronze reflective metal paper to use as the foreground. And I like it because I think mirrors make such an interesting foreground because they reflect everything. What I like about this is that there's like an element of reflection, but you can't see the exact mirror image. And it's interesting. It just adds.
I wish we can pop up the photos you're talking about right now. So.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool. But yeah, to your point, definitely going to the craft stores and like experimenting with different papers. And also it's nice to like, you know, if you can't find the paper you want in seamless, like there's so many more options in terms of the color wheel that you can get from like regular paper. The only downside of using paper like that is like it's a lot smaller, so your set is limited to a foot or 2. But I mean, you can, you know, shoot something really nice and tight on something that's smaller.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And do you get your glasses and mirrors in craft store as well, or do you go? I've heard people told me they get like really nice mirrors in Walmart or something.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. I go to Lowe's or Home Depot to get like the big size mirrors. And I find that they're like very cost effective and they're really good quality. They last for a long time. Pro tip, if you do like to store mirrors in your studio or wherever you are, just make sure to bandage up the tips of them. I find that once the corners get nicked on the mirror, it's really easy for them to split. So just like keep them wrapped up and keep those edges safe, and then the mirror will last a lot longer. Speak from experience. Yeah.
I can see that. Do you suggest, so like since we have kind of entered this new area of like a lot of apps are now doing short videos and stuff, and I noticed you like try to play with reels, try to play with little clips of videos, and I also know that client actually reach out, hire you to create more of a reels or TikTok type of videos. I wonder if you have any suggestion for your fellow like still life photographers or, you know, food, beverages, product photographers. What can they take more into action to kind of riding these waves of short videos?
That's a great question. I feel like, yeah, to your point, Instagram has basically come out and said like we're focusing on reels, like video is the future. And so I feel like if you are one of those still life photographers that shoots mainly social content for different brands, then definitely either, experiment with making like stop motion videos, which is basically like a series of photos, which, I mean, this. I'm not like sharing this for you, Claire. I know you know like all of this already.
No, yeah, we're recording this, so this is for everybody.
Yeah, that's true. My recommendation is, either experiment with stop motion or experiment with the video feature on your camera. I feel like whatever camera you're using, whether it's a smartphone or a DSLR, like there's always video. I would say 98% of them have video capability, and so practice with shooting short video. And then what's nice is that if you're just getting into editing video, it's likely that you already know Photoshop, and so you can also use Photoshop to edit your short videos. I feel like it's interesting, like coming from both sides. I feel like I've talked to videographers who are really scared of photography, and then also photographers I know are really scared of making videos, and it's like I feel like it's not that hard to cross over. Not hard, but like I don't know, I think it's more daunting than reality. As the case with like most things in life, right? Like you kind of build it up in your head. Yeah,
that's very encouraging to hear. I definitely have heard of the same thing, that photographers don't like shooting videos because the editing is terrible. It's very time consuming. Like you spend hours for like 30 seconds of video if you want to make it really perfect. But it's really encouraging to hear that you kind of think there is definitely a way if you kind of just started.
Totally. And I think like people shoot movies on smartphones now, so I think that right, like, which is so cool and inspiring. Like we have the capability on our smartphones. So if you are excited but apprehensive about like making short form videos, I would say set up the scene as you would a photograph, except when the moment comes, like don't use your DSLR, just like film something on your camera and like start small like that. If you're shooting for social anyway, the quality on your smartphone is so good. It's like I hate to say it because I do shoot on my DSLR, and I think it's even nicer than a smartphone, but you don't need it. Like you can shoot on your smartphone. And then there are like a million apps you can use to make editing easier if you shoot it that way. I don't know, really encourage people to just like go out and try it. It's
totally. I love using like my iPhone to like shoot stuff that just like sometimes even photos, because the big camera is nice. I do still love them. I still have them, but it's just way easier with the iPhone sometimes. And especially there's so many cool apps designed for short clips of video like that. I like to use InShort. That's
cool.
Sort of like an app that you can edit a lot of short videos, like Reels or TikTok. I think it's one of the most popular app that creators are using for Reels or TikTok. I really like to use it. I think it's not Adobe Premiere or anything close to it, but it's for the convenience. I think it's cool to use app.
That's awesome. Are there any other video editing apps that you like to use?
I use Adobe Rush on my phone sometimes too.
Cool.
So I will say like between Rush, like a Premiere Rush, between Rush and InShot, I feel like just for the social usage of like Reels, TikTok, I think it's pretty set. Like I don't need anything else.
I love your videos. I think you do such a great job, and you also post them so often, which is, I think, inspiring. So that's cool to like hear what you use.
I try to like make it, try to kind of like do more, but it's definitely harder to post consistently, especially with videos. But anyways, I'm trying to see if there's any other question. Michael, do you have any follow-up questions since she's here?
Yeah, I was writing something down as we were as you all were talking. So I'm kind of curious to hear where. Okay, so I guess it's like a two-part question. One, what's more the industry that you like to shoot? Is it more like health and beauty or more like drinks? Like, what brings you the most excitement and satisfaction? And then the second part of that is, what brands are you trying to like? What would be like some dream clients of yours to work with in that industry?
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. Happy to share. Okay, so what are the like what are the industries that bring me the most joy in shooting? And I would feel like the three that I shoot the most right now, those bring me the most joy, which is food, drink, and beauty products. I feel like what honestly, what sometimes it comes down to are the people I'm shooting with. Oh my God, one of my favorite clients is this beauty brand called Shaz and Keeks. They're awesome. They just like, they're in Credo now, they're in Sephora. I think they're in Urban Outfitters. They're just like, it's this
Nice.
two sisters based in Dallas, and they're killing it. They do such a great job, and we have such a fun time on set. They're like lovely people, they're lovely to work with, and the product is amazing too. And then like in terms of food and drink, like I don't know, that's always fun for me because I feel like I came from a food background. Like I used to shoot restaurants for restaurant openings and like work really closely with different chefs in New York City. And so to me, food and drink always, I have like a very soft spot for that. It's just, you know, I'm inherently interested by food. So yeah, those three. And then in terms of dream clients, some of my dream clients I get to work with, which is really lovely. Like I really love working with Kin. I think what they're doing is really cool. And not only are the people who work behind the product really lovely and, you know, and their mission is really awesome and interesting. I feel like I also really, really like their aesthetic. I feel like they're always trying to push the boundaries of what is interesting and beautiful. And that's a client I always love, love working with. I would say dream
Yeah,
clients.
I
Like,
feel like most photographers in our community are like, when they see, there's always a handful of brands that we all talk about. And I feel like Ken is one of those
And the
because their
boys
aesthetic
now?
is, yes. Oh my God. Dude, the set design for those is unreal. It's so good.
Beautiful.
But
yeah,
it's just so cool to like know that you shoot like a lot of that content. I know there's other brands that we work with too, but it's just really cool. Like hats off to you for the work that you do, and that's awesome that you feel like
thanks.
you're already working with your dream clients. Yeah.
Yeah,
Totally.
thanks. Yeah, I'm real grateful. Yeah, it's great to shoot with. Yeah. Trying to think of other dream clients. I would love to shoot for my favorite chocolate brand, Theo Chocolate. Shout out in Seattle. Anybody knows that has a connection? Let me know.
Wait, what is it? What is it?
Yeah,
What chocolate?
it's kind of silly, but like, yeah, they're like my go-to dark chocolate choice, and I buy them all the time. So if I got to shoot for them, I feel like it would be a dream come true.
Can you say the brand name one more time?
Oh no, I can't.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh,
maybe it was my end.
Oh, I was asking what was the brand of the chocolate?
Theo Chocolate, THEO. I'm like in love with them. Highly recommend.
Can you buy that from Whole Foods?
Totally. Whole Foods, smaller markets. Yeah. I think you could probably buy it. I think you could buy it directly from their website too.
Yes.
But,
I've seen them. Yeah, I've seen them.
yeah. They do a great job, and it's really clean. I feel like not only is it fair trade and like, but they also use like really simple organic ingredients, which is awesome. And they're creative with their flavors. I could just, talk for hours about them. So anyway, Michael, that's one of my dream clients. Theo Chocolate.
That's so funny. We went to Whole Foods and I bought their they have some peanut butter bars, and I was like, I fell in love in the parking lot eating those things.
Cool.
Yeah, there was like a little 2-pack of like a little peanut butter chocolate or like
like Reese's cups. Oh yeah.
Yeah, those ones. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, what is this?
Yeah, good stuff. They're great. Highly recommend.
Yeah.
I think another dream brand, not brand per se, but like another client I would love to have is this is kind of a weird thing, but like I would love to work with a band, like shoot the album cover for a
Nice.
music band. I think it would be so fun, and we could jam on the music together. Like, not that I would be making music, but like being inspired by music to create something visual. I think that's so interesting and cool. Anyway, so any musicians out there, hit me up.
That's a great one.
Yeah. What about you guys? I'm curious, like for both of you, like what are, I don't know, who's one of
Michael,
your
you go first.
Okay, so what's the question?
Who's one
The
of your
brand
dream?
that you want to work with.
Oh, okay. All right, this is easy. So I want to shoot, there is they just Olipop, the soda brand.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
I feel like they have such a clean, like just a very clean but vibrant aesthetic. I think that something like that would be perfect to work on. And I actually really like the sodas too. So it's like a win-win of enjoying, like enjoying the product, but also like shooting for the brand. So I think they would be a huge one. And then
Cool.
I don't know, maybe boy smells. I don't know if I could pull that off with my current
Ooh.
styling.
That's
But
intense. They're
man,
beautiful.
whoever, do you know the photographer? Because whoever does their stuff
yeah,
is
they
next
tag the
level.
photographers. He is this guy. I think is one of those guys who's not super active on social, but does beautiful, beautiful images. He's a florist to start with as well. So florist and
No way.
photographer.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so his image is really beautiful. I think he shot something for he shot something for Ken. He shot something for another really awesome brand recently. But yeah, he does really, really cool work. But I know Boy Smells very specific with their branding, kind of like a Ken. And then they don't just like hire any photographers. They like work with a photographer pretty consistently. So it's one of those brands.
It seems like that photographer, like the photographer style it kind of like helps set the tone for their visuals. I'm sure there's a lot of like direction and collaboration on both ends, but he seems to have one of those styles that's like, it seems like it'd be very difficult to replicate. And so for that reason, they probably just stick with him, or maybe just a small group of creatives. I don't know. That's just me guessing.
Those are very good brands to work with.
Cool.
I don't know if there's any like, I mean, I love to, as a brand, I love to like collaborating with these cool brands. So, I mean, it would be cool to collaborate with Boy Smile, Ken, or any other like really upcoming cool brands who has like a sense of, consistent style and aesthetically really match with Modelier's aesthetic. I would want to kind of collaborate with. So I don't really have a dream one, but I felt pretty lucky sometimes because the type of a business I'm running, and I go on Instagram and I just like see, that brand used my piece, that brand used my piece. So it's kind of cute to see that. So I felt pretty honored that, I have the opportunity to be kind of like seeing my stuff in so many other people or so many other brands, well-known brands set. I feel like all the brands that you guys been working with are just, are my dream brands as well.
That's cool. That's so cool, Claire, that I don't know, I'm so like proud of you. Like you've built up this amazing business, and like these brands who you don't even work with directly, like they still use your products to elevate their photos and videos and make them look good. Like,
and that's because like awesome photographers like you guys, Yeah, that's how I discovered when you post the photo with Tim. Like, whoa, that is really cool. Like, I love the brand.
That's right.
And then I realized that you use the piece, and like that's how I get to know you. Like, I found your work through the photo you posted. So that's really cool. I actually have really a good question. I think you will be good person to answer this, and I don't see a lot of people talking about this styling techniques. It's for skincare or cosmetics, you know, sometimes you have to break stuff down, and like eyeshadows or like a pump of like moisturizers.
Yeah.
Or you have to like make textures. Do you have a tool to do that? And how, if you have to break something, like how do you break it, make it look nice?
Oh, that's a great question. Yeah, skincare styling is so specific. I feel like if it's a smear or a swoop, I have a set of palette knives and then also a set of rubber, very, very, very tiny rubber spatulas that I use to like get the swoop just right. It sounds silly, but they're so helpful. Like I feel like yeah, that's really nice. And then as far as breaking things and making them look really pretty, um I don't have a tool. It's just practice. I know that's not a fun answer to hear, but it just it's more like kind of a technique of like placing it down and knowing like how soft or how hard to break it. And then yeah, I know that's like not fun to hear. Like just try it out many times over and over.
I guess it's kind of nerve-wracking when you have
Sorry.
to break something that perfect. And then do you, when you talk with the clients, do they always send you like multiple of the same product just in case something is, you know, if you break something and it doesn't look good and you will need like replacements? So when they send the product, they probably send a lot of the product.
Yeah, totally. I feel like if I'm shooting just the outside of a product, then I don't need as many products sent. But if it's food, if I'm breaking open the package, if we're arranging it, if it's a drink and we're popping the tops, or if it's beauty care and we're opening it up and using a lot of like the cream that's inside, then I do request more of the same objects. Yeah. Like recently I shot for this brandy company and it was just shots of the of the packaging on the outside, and so I only needed like 1 or 2 kits, and I always request at least more than one of a product because something usually happens in shipping. It's the way it is, and it'll happen in shipping, or the printing will be slightly off. It's like these details you would never know if you were just like picking it up off the shelves in the store, but if you're examining it under like the lens of a camera, everything becomes like real clear that it's like off. Yeah, I hope that answers your question, Claire.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that answers my question. I think it's just like a takeaway that when you shoot brands and always request multiple products just in case there are flaws, something happened on set.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Michael, did you had another questions before we wrap this up?
How come there's so many great photographers coming out of like Austin, Texas, all of a sudden? Or Texas in general? There's so many good photographers and creatives out there. What the heck?
Thanks. Oh, makes me so proud. I love Austin. I feel like it's like a mass exodus from other places and we're all like Austin. It's like affordable. The creative community is really good. I mean, affordable is a loose term. It's still like a lot more expensive than like other places in the nation. But when you compare it to, I feel like when you compare it to creative hubs like LA or San Francisco or New York, it is a lot more affordable in comparison. And I feel like the pace of life is a little bit slower, which I think helps when you're in the creative field. I mean, that's a double-edged sword. I feel like when I don't know, I can only speak out of personal experience. I feel like when I lived in New York, it was wonderful, like having my nose to the grindstone and hustling all the time, because it creates a lot of creative output. But I feel like living in Austin, there's a really nice, I feel like I have a healthier life work balance here. And I feel like, I don't know, maybe it's just because I have more years in the field now, but I feel like my stuff is more creative than it was when I was hustling really, really hard. I mean, I still hustle hard, but not as like, I don't know.
I can see that. You're living more balanced lifestyle. So it's like creatively is more you have more of like brain space for creating something new and amazing. And also, I mean, like one of the things is just everybody move, like every creative business is moving to Austin, Texas. I know Ken's actually in Austin too. And a lot of other startups is moving to Austin's, and there's no income taxes in Austin's. So that's like one of the biggest things. A lot of people are moving to Florida and Texas. So I felt like that's attracting a lot of talents for sure.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I just like look at my feed on the daily, and I feel like it's 75% of like it's either like WonderKind or like now or or just like all these really cool creatives out there. So that makes sense. I mean, it seems like a good place to like kind of plant roots, and like after you've kind of like grinded it out in the bigger cities, and now you're like ready to just kind of like chill a little bit, but like still set up camp. I don't know. Do you think you're going to stay in Austin for a while then? Is that kind of home for you?
I mean, this is where my house is. So I'm really like
more
to it. Yeah, I feel like I'm definitely I feel like I've been trying to put down roots, and they're getting stronger every month. And I feel really proud to live here, and I do see myself here for the foreseeable future. Although I don't know, I feel like if you are in a larger city and you're feeling a little burnt out, or you feel like you're getting priced out, there are lots of great places across the nation that I think have a really interesting creative community. But I'll say like the weather is amazing. I love it. I mean, if you can handle like triple degrees, during the summertime, I love it. I love it. It's lovely.
There's the AC.
Yeah, I mean, that's what
I'll take the heat over the cold.
And the river, yeah, same. Rather be hot than cold. Anyway,
Well,
Claire, how do you feel? Oh, sorry. Never mind. We're like at an hour. I was gonna ask.
No, it's fine. It's fine. We jumped on like 5 minutes late. Go ahead.
Okay.
Were you asking something?
I was gonna say, Claire, how do you feel about LA?
I don't know. I've only been living in San Francisco ever since I moved from China 10 years ago. So I've never really lived in LA before, but it's definitely something.
Sorry.
No worries. It's LA, San Francisco. It's that because it's California. I've only visited LA, and I felt really good when I visited, but I've never really lived there, so it's kind of different when you're visiting. But I will say cost of living will probably be cheaper for me, and also especially I need a lot of space for my pieces and creating different things. I would say LA is probably better in that sense. You get larger space with the same amount of rentals. But other than that, I feel like LA got a lot of cool creative energy. It's like a lot of brands or a lot of like creative agency I know are in LA. So I think creatively it's definitely a good move for me. If there is opportunity, I would, but not anytime soon yet.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Where is Michael located?
I'm in we just moved from we've been in Nashville, but we moved to Oklahoma City last year. So we're now here. This is where we're putting our roots. So we're staying here in Oklahoma.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's cool.
Oh, we're all from different places. Like very sort of, you guys are probably closer. I'm a little bit far.
Definitely.
But well, thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. Miachel joined today and took your time and then explain a lot of details of your work and the process and your styling techniques. And thank you. It was nice meeting you, Michael, and thank you for joining today.
Claire, thank you so much for hosting this. And Michael, thanks for asking great questions and joining in. Oh my God. Oh,
it was here the whole time. Okay. Bye.
Bye. Oh my God, so sweet. All right, bye y'all.
Bye.